In Mandela County, the scariest thing isn't crime or taxes. It's the monsters pretending to be your neighbors. Alright, so imagine this. You think you're getting a message from heaven, but it's actually Satan sliding into your DMs. Yeah, that's basically what's happening with Archangel Gabriel in the Mandela Catalogue. Spoiler alert, this dude is not here to save you. Gabriel shows up acting like your typical holy messenger, all fear not and listen to me, mortals. But in reality, he's the OG villain, possibly Satan himself or the Antichrist. Either way, he's the big boss leading the alternates, spreading fear, lies, and chaos like it's his full-time job. He's responsible for kicking off a ton of the horror in Mandela County. It's like he looked at the Bible, said, "Nah, let's remix this," and turned everything good into nightmare fuel. Thanks to Gabriel, alternates run wild, mad, metaphysical awareness disorder, spreads like a TikTok dance challenge, and everyone's stuck second-guessing if their mom is really their mom, or something way, way worse. Long story short, if you ever see a glowing dude telling you he's here to help, run. Just run, preferably out of state. You ever get that feeling like someone's staring at you, but you can't see their face? Yeah, welcome to nightmare territory, courtesy of the faceless female alternate. This thing looks almost human, if humans were 99% normal and 1% holy crap, what is that? She's got the body, the movements, maybe even the clothes down, but no face, no eyes, no mouth, just smooth, unsettling nothingness, like someone tried to draw a person and gave up halfway through. The worst part? She mimics human behavior. Imagine hearing your friend's voice call your name, only to turn around and see faceless Barbie trying to blend in. The human brain wants to recognize faces, so when there's just absence, instant existential horror. In the Mandela Catalogue, this alternate perfectly captures the fear of losing identity, your own, and the people you trust. It's not just creepy, it's wrong on a level your instincts can't even explain. You'll wish you could forget seeing her, but hey, that's when she really starts to get comfy. Alright, meet N. Not to be confused with that nice neighbor who lends you sugar. No, this N is more like the thing that watches you sleep and wonders what your insides look like. N is the alternate version of Nicholas Barringer, and he's straight-up nightmare fuel. Picture a tall, lanky figure, completely black, like a human-shaped shadow, except for two glowing, soul-piercing eyes staring right through you. Basically, if you took the concept of creepy silhouette and cranked it to 11, you'd get N. Unlike some other alternates that try to act human, N doesn't even bother. He's just this lurking, ominous presence. No fake smiles. No, "Hey, it's me, your friend." Just raw, silent intimidation. He's often found in dark hallways, abandoned spaces, and pretty much anywhere you really don't want to turn the lights off. N represents the fear of the unknown, the idea that something could be out there, watching, waiting, and you wouldn't even know until it's way too late. So yeah, sleep tight after learning about this guy. You know that old horror cliché where your best friend shows up at your door, but something feels off? Yeah, well, Caesar's alternate is why that trope now lives rent-free in my nightmares. In the Mandela Catalogue, poor Caesar Torres gets replaced by an alternate who wears his face like a cheap Halloween mask. It calls up Mark Heathcliff, another main character, asking for help, pretending to be the real Caesar. And Mark, being a good dude, falls right into the trap. The alternate isn't just trying to kill Mark. Oh no, that would be too easy. It messes with his mind, slowly driving him insane until Mark eventually, not a happy ending. Caesar's alternate is the perfect example of how dangerous these things are. They don't just attack, they infect. They get inside your head, make you doubt what's real, make you doubt yourself. It's psychological warfare, and these creatures are basically undefeated champions at it. Moral of the story: if your buddy calls asking for a favor and he sounds a little weird, maybe text him first. Real quick, if you're enjoying this creepy deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe. It seriously helps a small channel like this grow and keep bringing you more nightmare fuel. Plus, it tells the algorithm demons we're worth haunting. Imagine if your Sunday school teacher was actually a demon in disguise. That's the preacher. And trust me, you don't want to hear his sermons. The preacher, also known as the messenger, is one of the creepiest looking alternates in the Mandela Catalogue. He's basically a skeleton with a hoodie, hollow eye sockets, gaping mouth, and a vibe that screams, "Hey, want to lose your mind real quick?" Instead of sneaking around like some alternates, the preacher shows up to straight up talk to people. But he's not delivering the good word. He's spreading fear, madness, and a whole lot of what even is reality anymore. He pops up on TVs, radios, and who knows what else, whispering that cozy little idea, "You're already dead, might as well finish the job." The worst part? His sermons sound almost comforting at first, like, "Hey, life's tough, it's okay to let go." Until you realize he's nudging you off the psychological cliff edge. The preacher doesn't just haunt you, he reprograms you. So yeah, next time your TV flickers and a creepy dude starts giving life advice, maybe just smash the TV. Alright, so picture this. You're a kid, chilling at home, and suddenly your imaginary friend gets way too real. That's basically the story behind the Murray Residence Alternate, and it's about as fun as a root canal performed by a ghost. The Murray family, specifically their son Adam Murray, gets terrorized by an unnamed alternate that takes root right inside their home. But this isn't your standard boogeyman under the bed situation. No, this alternate worms its way into the kid's mind, posing as a harmless little fantasy figure. At first, it's a slow invasion. The alternate doesn't smash windows or drag people into closets. It plants fear, nightmares, ideas, making the child paranoid, sleep-deprived, and totally isolated. Eventually, the lines between reality and horror blur so badly that even the adults can't tell what's happening anymore. The Murray Residence Alternate perfectly shows how alternates don't just target people, they target trust. If you can't even feel safe in your own home, you're basically already lost. Friendly advice? Maybe vet your kid's imaginary friends from now on. Now we're getting into the real roots of the madness, the original alternate. And no, sadly, original doesn't mean vintage cool. It means this dude basically kickstarted everyone's worst nightmares. The original alternate is implied to be the first ever successful copy of a human, specifically Adam, as in the Adam from the whole Garden of Eden story. You know, no pressure or anything. Instead of just chilling and naming animals, this alternate started the grand tradition of impersonation, deception, and emotional wreckage that every other alternate now follows like a TikTok trend. What makes the original alternate so terrifying is that it represents the first betrayal. The moment when reality officially broke, when people realized that seeing wasn't believing anymore. If the first human can be replaced, what hope do the rest of us even have? Even though he doesn't get tons of screen time, the original alternate's influence looms over the whole Mandela Catalogue like a bad smell you can't scrub out. He's not just a monster, he's the blueprint for every nightmare that follows. Okay, so you know how lambs are supposed to be cute, fluffy, and symbols of peace? Yeah. The lamb in the Mandela Catalogue is basically the complete opposite. Think less awe and more oh no. The lamb started off as an innocent little sheep, just vibing, living its best farm life, until Gabriel, aka not-so-angelic Satan guy, decided to work some of his twisted magic. He resurrected it into an alternate, because obviously, what the world really needed was a demonic zombie sheep. The lamb symbolizes how even the purest things can be corrupted beyond recognition. It's not just scary because it's unnatural, it's scary because it used to be something good. Gabriel basically took the idea of resurrection, which is supposed to be beautiful, and made it into a tool for spreading fear and death. And if that's not peak Mandela Catalogue vibes, taking something wholesome and twisting it into a waking nightmare, I don't know what is. Next time you see a cute animal staring at you a little too long, might want to keep your distance. So after all that, how do you survive the alternates? Short answer, you probably don't. Long answer, maybe if you never trust anyone, smash every TV, and sleep with one eye open, you'll have a slight chance. The Mandela Catalogue shows us that the real horror isn't monsters jumping out of closets. It's the quiet fear that the people around you might not be who you think they are, or worse, that you aren't even you anymore. Anyway, thanks for diving into this psychological trauma session with me. Which alternate creeped you out the most? Let me know in the comments. And hey, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe triple check your reflection tonight.